Hi and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing an oil and filter change on my wife's Vauxhall Agila B 1.2. This 2012 model. So to do the job you're going to need a catch tray, a funnel, some 5W30 GM oil and a new oil filter, and also a ratchet or a spanner, 14mm, and that should be all you need. Because the car's very low at the front, I can't actually reach through to where the sump plug is. I'll actually put it on some ramps, but that doesn't really matter because the actual sump plug hole is right at the back of the sump, which you'll see in a minute. So basically all the oil will flow backwards anyway. So the sump plug itself is located just here, which is towards the back of the engine. As I was saying earlier on, it basically, because it's the openings at the back there, the fact that I've got the car sort of tilted up an angle won't matter because it's going to allow all the oil to flow out the back of it. So I just need to now put my catch tray in there, 14mm socket or spanner, going to crack the nut off and let the oil out. Blimey. Oh, that's tight. Now the worst bit to do an oil change is the fact that you then get it all over your hands, potentially. Get that back a bit. I think that's going to go everywhere. There we go. Now the oil's nice and warm anyway because I've just been out this morning and done about 30 miles in the car, so it's lovely loose and flowing, as you can see. So the camera's pointing in the right direction, of course. So while the remainder of the oil is draining, the oil filter is located just here. So it's in quite an easy location to get at. I was going to give it a quick clean off actually because there's quite a bit of dirt and debris all around the front of it before I start spinning it off, but fingers crossed it'll come off easy enough. It looks like it's been leaking a little bit actually. So I was going to clean that off, wasn't I? Oops, sorry, just flashed the camera. Let's give it a quick wipe now. Take it off. Let's bring that forward that way, and fingers crossed that will come off easy enough. There we go. Let's let that flow into the can. The other thing I've done actually, which I forgot to show on the footage, is I've released the cap and the dipstick as well. It just allows for flow. Yuck. Worst part of doing an oil change this. Drop it in the can a bit. Some cloth wash me dry my hands with. Yeah, as I mentioned just now, I've taken the cap off the top of the engine. That allows a bit of air in there, allows it to flow, and also pulled the dipstick out slightly as well. One, that's a good reminder that there's no oil in it, but secondly, as I said, it just helps to flow out. I don't know how the camera's picking it up, but I've just cleaned the surface now, ready for the new oil filter to be installed. Well, this is the new oil filter that we've got. That's a Pure Flux LS896, and as the location of the oil filter is very easy to get at, I'm actually going to pre-fill this slightly. I probably won't fully pre-fill it, but as it's easy to get in, it's vertical. Some oil filters go in horizontally, so obviously you can't pre-fill them, but one that's going in vertically like this, there's not really a problem in doing it. So that's the oil filter now pre-filled slightly. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, there's a little bit that's got spilt in, so I'm just going to run my finger around the outside of the rubber there, and that just helps it seal when you put it in, stops it dragging. And when you can put an oil filter in, do not over tighten it. It's literally hand tight only. Right, let's get the new oil filter in. That's it, hand tight only. Well, the drippage at the back there has almost stopped. I'll give it another few minutes and then put the sump plug back in. Now, in regards to sump plugs, some people would say that you need to change the crush washer on a sump plug. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Let's put it this way, I'm now 61 years old. I've been changing oil since I was 16 and I've never changed a sump plug washer. So I'm going to leave that one up to you. But when you put it back in, you need to torque it to 25 Newton meters. So now the oil filter's on, the sump plug's back in. I've torqued that to 25 Newton meters. We now need to put 3.3 litres of oil. Well, on the range is 3.1 to 3.3 litres of oil. Now I'll probably put somewhere between 0.2 and 0.3 litres of oil into the oil filter when I installed it. So we're going to look at putting about 3 litres of oil in here to start off with. Start the engine up, let it run a bit, and then we'll recheck it later. It's a good idea to tip your can sideways. It stops it glugging. Just hope the wind don't pick up too much today because it's quite a breezy day. In fact, it's always windy here. It's far better than what it was the other day. Quite a slow process putting it in there because I can't really drop the funnel in too deep into the engine because the cam chain's in the way. So I won't bore you with any more of this oil filling shenanigans, and I'll come back to you in a bit. So we're up to level now on the dipstick for now, and also then just put the cap back on. Always worthwhile just double checking underneath as soon as you start the engine up, make sure there's no oil going to come peeing out the bottom of it. Instead of double check the oil filter, I've double checked the sump plug, so I'm confident we should be okay to fire her up. Need to make sure the oil light goes out, and on the Agila it's just there. It went out literally within seconds. So I'm going to let it run for a few minutes, and I'm going to have a quick check underneath, make sure there's nothing leaking, and then I'll then turn the engine off, let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes, and then recheck the levels, and then if it needs topping up a bit more, then I will do. So quick check under the car, just make sure the oil filter's not leaking, there's nothing coming out of there. And also then sump plug as well to make sure there's nothing coming out of there either, which there's not. So at the moment, happy days. So the car's now been sitting for about 10 minutes with the engine turned off. I'm now going to check the oil again on the dipstick, and if it needs a little bit more in it, I'm going to top it up. The other thing I've done is I've now taken it off the ramps, so obviously the car is now sitting in a more level position to what it would have been. Yeah, I've just checked it and it does need a little bit more, so it's probably going to need about another 1/4 litre of oil in it at the very most. So on the dipstick for one of these, to make sure you've got the oil in the right place, the lower dot there is the minimum level it should ever get to, and then the top dot is the uppermost level it should ever get to. Don't go beyond it, and do not ever let that go below that. So obviously it needs to be somewhere in the middle of those two. Well, I've just got it just very, I mean obviously there's no oil on it now, but when I get it back in there again, it's just very slightly just below that second dot, just here. So the last job we're going to do today is we need to reset the service inspection light. So we can see it on there, it says INSP. So to get rid of that, we need to take the ignition back 1 click. I'm going to have to try and do this with 2 hands, which is not going to be easy, but anyway. So what you then do is you then press this button on the left hand side, you're going to hold that, and then you're going to turn the ignition back on to its 2nd click, and then it should then reset itself. So yeah, so we're going to press that button, turn the ignition to the 2nd click, you'll see INSP, keep hold of it, and it should start flashing, and then it goes down to loads of dashes, and that's now it reset. So now I want to turn it back on. to the second setting, all you got is 3 dots along the bottom. The INSP flashing light has now disappeared and it's been reset because you have a new oil change on it. So that's the oil and filter change now complete, and also I've reset the INSP light that's on the dashboard. So if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It'd be fantastic if you do that, and I'll see you again in the next one. Cheers.